And today we have the Isle of Raasay Sherry Finish first release 2018-2022. And let me tell you a little bit of Raasay. I've been to the Isle of Raasay and I think the distillery video is out, so you can search for it on Whisky.com in the Whisky database for the distillery and you will find the distillery video there, or you can find it on YouTube. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Isle of Raasay, because I'll just give you a little glance into the distillery video. What they do is extraordinary for Scotch whiskey. Usually a Scotch whiskey used to be sherry cask matured, and now it's mainly bourbon cask matured with finishes. That's the gist of it. Some do still do full sherry maturation, but they actually see themselves as island malts, and they think that they should be really spicy, really, I would say, extreme. And what they do is they actually mature not in bourbon casks, but in American oak rye whiskey casks. So normal Scotch bourbon, and this one is in rye cask. So it gets a little bit from that spiciness, not just a little bit, but a good amount of spiciness from the American rye casks. And then they finish it in PX and Oloroso casks, so they get a little good amount of fruitiness, good amount of sweetness. And they distill, so they get tons of nice flavors in there. If you want to know more about the distilling, just watch the distillery video. So also these Oloroso casks are quarter casks. So quarter cask, really small, and they give you a lot of intensity. They're still a very young distillery, but yeah, they already have 4 years, so they do have a couple of years behind them. So it is whiskey. It's a younger whiskey, but it's yeah, it's nice. I got a good sealing for that bottle. Good seal for that bottle. Yeah. The Isle of Raasay is the only distillery on the Isle of Raasay, and I think it will remain that way, because I've been to the Isle of Raasay, and except for a really small town, a few farmers, and that one place where you can do like outdoor adventure and hotel, I think it was, and restaurant. And except for that, you only have the distillery. So that's pretty much it on that island. We had we went to the supermarket. It was just like a corner shop, and that was like the whole market for that town on the island. It's a really, really remote and small town. And the road that has been built to the north on the island, that has been built by one chap in the 60s, 70s called Cullum, and he built that road by himself with the shovel, pickaxe, and wheelbarrow, where I think that he had a few more than just one pickaxe. They probably went through two or three wheelbarrows and 2 or 3 shovels. So, but anyway, let's have a look. How spicy and how intense that whiskey is gonna be. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the first thing that comes in my mind is smokiness. They do have peat smoked whiskey. They do peat smoked whiskey and unpeated whiskey, and they don't do any washing in between. Just write it on the cask how it was, like intermediate, something smoky, and smoky or non-smoky whiskey. So they're really down to earth, but you can already smell behind the smoke that there's a bit of a sherry thing going on. Don't have anything of the spiciness yet. It's just too smoky to have that spiciness heavily present. Oh, also forgot to mention 52% ABV, so 104 proof. Ooh, hefty stuff. But that alcohol gives you an intensity with spiciness, smokiness, and that little sweetness just goes around in your mouth. I think that's an amazing combination of whiskeys. I really like it. But it's, if you want to have it like on your side, like a neat on your side whiskey that just follows you through the evening while you have nice conversations, I think it's just a bit hefty. You have to be really in for that hefty stuff, because it's more of a whiskey that is really demanding your attention. When you have a sip of it, it's just going in. This is really hefty. It has peppery, smoky, a little bit of fruitiness, sweetness, oakiness, everything in there. What is missing? Hard to say. Oiliness, creaminess, that's missing. I would say it has everything, but I would say charming gentleness. That is everything in that glass except that. It just intense with tons and tons of flavors. It's amazing. I've not seen many and Scottish whiskies that have that intensity. In terms of intensity, I would probably go for rye. But if you ever have it in a blind tasting, I would go for rye. But still, that smokiness would really put me off. I would say, yeah, someone made a smoky rye. That feels like it. But it's still, if you compare it to a really strong rye, then it's not as intense with the spiciness as a rye. But it comes close. With the lower, there are some bourbons out there who have a high rye amount that you can really feel that it wants to be a rye. It's like that, but not as sweet, sticky sweet as the Americans are. I think there is a great future ahead for Isle of Raasay, as they have made a product that is just sticking out and that can stand for itself, and everybody knows that is the Isle of Raasay whiskey, because it's just, I think it's becoming an icon. But in 10 years time, we are saying, hey, Isle of Raasay, oh yeah, that really hefty stuff. Yeah, so that was my review from the Isle of Raasay Sherry Finish, first release 2018-2022. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.